a deliver. Some a go like say them powerful, me no make a bigger. The urgent the promises, none of them not deliver. Cut up the youth and rough and it's down in the river. Member bold money and they lie them tell. Corruption smell and they pocket them spell. When police don't a market like Satan, not a hell go mash up people start that people them spell. What they treat the market man, what them a treat the cat man, what they treat the peanut man, what them a treat the dirt man, what them a treat the son man, what them a treat policeman, all them a treat soldier. Stibby dim day. We in Global TV says certain kind of friend we no cape. And some informer friend we love lake. We in Global, bona fake friend and bona tape. We in Global, we not promote them, we not support them. Look at them and cheek come here represent for we in Global TV. Check it.
Good morning if you are on the Eastern timeline, and it is a very warm and sunny afternoon from London. Good afternoon and welcome to everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. In England evening, you know. To my community of party and all my family members, good morning. Platform moderators, membership holders, viewers and subscribers, commenters and trolls. Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to Global Television. Before I do my roll call, I want to take the time out to say welcome to one of our ardent globalists from Jamaica who is visiting the United Kingdom. Miss Kenisha, welcome to the United Kingdom. Thank you for being a support to Global TV. I know you're in the United Kingdom in the good weather time, so it's not a time that you will miss Jamaica. It's really the good weather time, so enjoy and have fun while you are in the United Kingdom. Welcome. Thank you. Michelle Lewis Wilson, Beaton Teach. Wagwan. Elaine Turner. Sharon Bernard. Mandela Strength. Sonia Johnson. Sunshine. JP. Annie Jones. Agency Driver 5. Jam Ashley, Veteran, Wagwan bro, Dora Morris, Marcia Thomas, Herbert Tuzelin, Marcia B. Rowe, Paula Shelley, Marjorie Goldberg, Blendon, Bros, Belinda Briscoe, Yvonne Johnson, Dorothy Brown. Good morning, all, and welcome. Thank you for joining us. We are aware of the development that took place in their compound over the weekend. Shadi Iris Open Iris, rather, sorry. Natalia Wagwan. And we are sticking to that story. But before we go back to that story, I want to see if I inspire Gen Z Jamaicans to stand up for something. Because at the moment, we're just over TikTok now, don't we? Gen Z Jamaicans are over TikTok. They may think they're making money, but wasting time. First, I want to look at some information which is a few years ago, but in my view, no information is ever old. Information was relevant yesterday, is relevant today for me. Let's look at the issue of reparations before we go into the issue of confronting governance.
It is asking for compensation for historical wrongs. Compensation it is entitled to. Compensation that 54 Commonwealth nations are also entitled to.
Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am the Kenyan Beast, of course. We are doing it the African way every day, every time. Okay, On today's episode, I'm going to talk about reparation. Now, there is this video of Jamaicans are asking for reparations from Britain government, from the Queen.
It will be from Jamaica. The Caribbean country is asking the British Queen to cough up billions. What for? As reparations for slavery. Quick background. Jamaica was a British colony from 1655 to 1962. The colonizer introduced sugarcane cultivation in Jamaica, and to support it, Britain introduced slaves. People were stolen from their homes and forced to work in the field. Many were shipped across to other countries as part of the transatlantic slave trade. In 1662, there were 400 slaves in Jamaica. By 1734, the number became 86,000. Between 1702 and 1749, nearly 300,000 slaves were imported to Jamaica. More than 100,000 were exported. It was only in the year 1807 that the British Parliament abolished slave trade, and it abolished slavery in 1837. By then, Britain had abducted and enslaved at least 12.5 million people. 12.5 million people enslaved. Many of them were Jamaicans. In 1833, Britain paid off 46,000 British slave owners.
Listen carefully.
They were given 20
if you don't
million
know.
pounds, almost 40% of that time's annual budget. What was this money for? To compensate for the quote-unquote loss of human property. What about these human properties themselves? What did the government give them? Forget compensation. Did Imperial Britain even offer an apology to the slaves and their families? The legacy of the slave trade still stings Jamaica. The country has been asking for justice for some time now. In 2015, then British Prime Minister David Cameron visited Jamaica. Jamaican leaders asked his government to pay reparations. Cameron was told to atone for the historical sin. The Prime Minister refused to even offer an apology. Here's what he said instead. David Cameron told Jamaica to move on. Reports published around that time revealed why he may have been so anti-reparation.
It was that same David Cameron, rather than having the discussion for reparations, David Cameron offered money to build prison.
Turns out one of Cameron's own family members was among many slave owners to have received compensation for loss of slaves. Jamaica did not give up its fight for justice, though. The Culture Minister recently said, and I'm quoting, "We are especially pleased to announce that we have made further steps in our strides towards seeking reparatory justice for the victims and descendants of the transatlantic slave trade. The petition is being presented to the Queen of the UK and or the government of the UK." Now, we don't know how much Jamaica is asking for exactly, but here's what we can tell you. Britain has a history of denying reparation. In 2014, a coalition of 15 Caribbean countries presented a compensation plan to the UK. They wanted reparation for slave trade. A YouGov survey at that time found that 46% of the respondents in the UK opposed reparations. What about the government? The Foreign and Commonwealth Office said reparations are, quote-unquote, not the answer for the legacy of slave trade.
Doing it the African way every day, every time.
Then British Prime Minister David Cameron.
We've broken this transmission to bring you some breaking news. Some information has come across to me that at the moment, Superintendent Minto is taking an operation into Quickstep in the Maroon community with about 50 personnel. I'm waiting for footage to come to me, and as soon as we have them, we will bring them to you. So this is breaking news unfolding at the moment in the Quickstep community, where the Black River, the superintendent of the Black River Police Station, is leading his men he's leading an operation into Quickstep at the moment. As further development comes along, we will bring it to you. But at the moment, let's get back to reparatory justice.
Cameron visited Jamaica. Jamaican leaders asked the government to pay reparations. Cameron was told to atone for the historical sin. The Prime Minister refused to even offer an apology. Here's what he said instead. David Cameron told Jamaica to move on. Reports published around that time revealed why he may have been so anti-reparation. Turns out one of Cameroon's own family members was among many slave owners to have received compensation for loss of slaves. Jamaica did not give up its fight for justice, though. The culture minister recently said, and I'm quoting, "We are especially pleased to announce that we have made further steps in our strides towards seeking reparatory justice for the victims and descendants of the transatlantic slave trade. The petition is being presented to the Queen of the UK and or the government of the UK." Now, we don't know how much Jamaica is asking for exactly, but here's what we can tell you. Britain has a history of denying reparation. In 2014, a coalition of 15 Caribbean countries presented a compensation plan to the UK. They wanted reparation for slave trade. A YouGov survey at that time found that 46% of the respondents in the UK opposed reparations. What about the government? The Foreign and Commonwealth Office said reparations are, quote unquote, not the answer for the legacy of slave trade. May I then ask, what is? What's the answer for the legacy of slave trade? After the Second World War, Germany was made to compensate for the damages. In the years since, several companies have had to cough up money for oil spills, for nuclear power plant leaks, for gas leaks, for accidents. And here we are talking about millions of people being abducted and enslaved, but Britain refuses to atone for its inhumanity. And FYI, reparations for transatlantic slave trade could add up to $14 trillion. Of course, the UK refuses to pay. Just like it refuses to return stolen goods, be it India's Kohinoor or Ethiopia's manuscripts. Treasures from British colonies decorate the crown and its properties today. They hang on the walls of its museums and palaces, and the UK sees nothing wrong with any of this. It feels no shame or the moral obligation to at least be apologetic, to at least apologize for its historic blunders. Today, Jamaica is setting wrongs. Compensation it is entitled.
We can now bring you those footage of Minto and his team moving into the cockpit country. There's quite a few buses and cars and vans and trucks and whatever apparatus Minto can take into the cockpit country. So currently there's an operation ongoing in the cockpit country. At the moment, we will wait to see if the Black River Police Station on the Holness regime is going to give us any information as to why they are heading into Quickstep at the moment. But this is breaking news as the story continues to develop of the government constant attack or pilferage on the Maroon community. So we are bringing you some breaking news coming in from the Quickstep community, where the Black River superintendent is leading an operation in Quickstep at the moment. You can see a convoy of vehicles going in the hills, but this is a developing issue that we will be keeping a close eye on. But let us get back to the final part of the reparatory justice. Then we move on to standing up to governance, and then we come back to the issue in their compound.
Compensation that 54 Commonwealth nations are also entitled to. The Great Britain ruled them all, looted them all.
Like and share the live,
You see,
please.
the British Empire was the largest the world
Send
has
it
ever
to all
seen.
of your
It ruled over
group.
parts
Let
of
them know what the
Africa,
government
Asia,
is
America,
doing.
Australia, and New Zealand. It squeezed all of them. From Africa, it abducted, trafficked, and enslaved people. Stole Benin bronzes. From Greece, it stole Elgin marbles. From Ethiopia, manuscripts. And from India, it drained $45 trillion. It is time for reparation. And while the world comes together to make China pay, it must not forget to also demand accountability from the British Crown.
So when we talk about reparations, we don't mean handing over money personally to individual Jamaicans. Reparation justice in correcting the wrongs. You first have to apologize, accept what you have done. You have to return all the stolen property. The Ethiopian manuscript where them write them Bible and translate them Bible from. Yes, those stolen texts, we want them back. All of the stolen bronze and marbles and whatever, return them. And then you pay in trillions for what your country and economy has inherited and the back of enslavement. But let's look at how the issue of protesting and standing up is developing in Nigeria. Pay close attention to the information. I think it's very important when it comes to how we use social media, how our Gen Z use social media, and how we use social media in Jamaica to take on or tackle bad governance.
With protests against their budget, or the finance bill as they call it, then they spread across the board. Now let's turn our attention to Africa. A wave of protests is spreading throughout the continent. It began in Kenya with protests against their budget, or the finance bill as they call it. Then they spread across the border to neighboring Uganda, and now Nigeria is gearing up to become the third protest hotspot. Young Nigerians are preparing to march against the government. They plan to hold peaceful protests next week on the 1st of August. And this has scared the Nigerian establishment. The country's president, Bola Tinubu, issued a warning on Monday. He said the protests were the work of some sinister people. And he asked Nigerians to not join. The next day, Nigeria's police chief joined the chorus. He said the protests were ill-advised and that the police would not sit back and watch. 2 days later, the Nigerian military chimed in. A military spokesperson said the protests may lead to anarchy. He said that the army would not allow Nigeria to spiral out of control. You can see how rattled the authorities are. Every arm of the government is trying to stop the protests, and not just with threats. On Tuesday, Nigeria doubled its minimum wage to try and diffuse public anger.
Only today, the National Assembly has expeditiously passed the new national minimum wage. You can see how the president is working. It was transmitted only yesterday. Today, it has been passed. A lot of other interventions that the president has also put in place are also going to be looked at expeditiously in the interest of Nigeria. The young people out there should listen to the president and allow the president more time to see to the realization of all the goodies he has for them.
He made that appeal to the quote-unquote young people out there because they are the ones who are organizing the protests. Just like in Kenya and Uganda, across Africa, it is the young people, members of Gen Z, who are organizing the demonstrations. Gen Z is planning the protests using social media. Nigeria's Gen Z are mobilizing under a social media hashtag #EndBadGovernance. The protests in Kenya were also organized under a hashtag. It was hashtag Reject Finance Bill 2024. That's what they call their budget. And this was when the protests had started. Now it has changed to hashtag Ruto Must Go. It reflects the changing demands of the Kenyan protesters. Protests also broke out in Uganda this Tuesday. They were organized using the hashtag March to Parliament. So it's a similar story in all these countries. Young people are fed up. They're also tech savvy, so they're using social media to come together and challenge the entrenched powers that be. The protests are also being broadcast in real time on social media on platforms like X and TikTok. The world can see.
This is the power social media has given us to become our own broadcasters, to become our own journalists, to become our own watchmen, to use social media to embarrass government, to use social media to call out government. But if we don't use social media sensible, it's only going to be to our demise.
Live footage from the ground, footage of police brutality or military heavy-handedness. Whenever it occurs, the Gen Z protesters are sharing this footage, which leads to more public anger and therefore more protests. It shows what a powerful tool social media can be and how it can put governments on the back foot. However, this is not the first time that something like this has happened. Protests have been organized on social media before. They've inspired similar demonstrations in other countries and even brought governments to their knees. All of this happened in 2011 and 2012 in Africa itself and parts of West Asia. It was dubbed the Arab Spring. The protests originated in Tunisia and spread like wildfire across North Africa and West Asia. Those protests were organized on Facebook and X, or Twitter as it was called back then. Well, Gen Z won't be caught dead using Facebook, but they're expressing their anger on TikTok and X, and this anger has already spread across 3 African countries. More could follow, and the reaction in Nigeria proves one thing: an angry and vocal youth is every government's worst nightmare.
Climate change.
Jamaicans, we have to start using social media to our benefit. Our leader is getting out of control, is becoming more tyrannical and dictatorial. Let us use social media to our advantage. Let us use social media to stand up. Ben Mangaga, good afternoon. Pamela Akola, Pauline Dixon, Georgia Dennis, G. Disprint, Patricia Matthews, how are you? Jason Kane, Millicent Jones, OPPS official. Let's now turn our attention to the situation unfolding in their compound. Let's look back to a question that was asked to the Prime Minister in January of 2022 by, I think, a Gleaner journalist, I think.
Did the government seek legal advice on its decision to disengage with so-called sovereign Maroons? And would the government not be derelict in refusing to finance projects in any such territories? And a companion question is whether the government finds it embarrassing that it seems that different arms of the state, that's the police and ODPEM, as we found out, gave approval to the hosting of the Maroon celebrations.
Your question is based on a very dangerous premise. And I said earlier that there are some threats that the average citizen looking on might think it is innocuous, it is popular, and take a liking to it, because the discussions that are held in places that should know better does not highlight the threat. Jamaica is a unitary, sovereign state. There is no other sovereign authority in Jamaica other than the government of Jamaica. I want that to be absolutely clear. None. And under my leadership, not 1 inch of Jamaica will come under any other sovereign authority. What you are asking would be another for the government of Jamaica to fund, take taxpayers' money and grant funds to fund another government. This is not a government saying they are a local government, a parish council government, which is under our constitution. Are you crazy? Really? Do you know what you're asking? This is the stuff of how guerrilla wars come and states break down. Wake up, Jamaica. Don't court foolishness and problems. Wake up. People have died as a result. And you expect me to stand here as Prime Minister and fund activities that could lead to the breakdown of our state? Never. Thank you.
Mr. Holness.
Only though, Prime Minister, the information you gave just now wasn't correct. Jamaica is not a sovereign state, Prime Minister. That is wholly incorrect. Wholly incorrect, Prime Minister. Jamaica is not a sovereign state. I don't know how much I can explain it to you. If we were a sovereign state, Prime Minister, we wouldn't have to go to the Privy Council for a final judicial appeal. We wouldn't. We would have had a Jamaican king, queen, or president as head of state if we were Prime Minister. That information is not true. Your cronies may believe it's true. It's not. Your other part, Prime Minister, what you say, this is how these things turn into guerrilla warfare and how country break down. Quite the opposite, Prime Minister. It is your interference, your intervention, your provocation of the Maroons and the Maroon communities, and the division that you have sought, Prime Minister, to create between the Maroon communities. It is things like that that will spark guerrilla warfare, and state will break down in an all-out civil war. So the information that you gave is a total lie, misinformation, propaganda. Making up to suit your economic advantage because you want mining license to hand out to China. Do you think the Americans is going to assist you to take an assault on the soil of Jamaica to benefit China's economy and China's military? Is that what you're expecting, Andrew Holness? That the Americans are going to have your back in this when you want the lands to give to the Chinese to mine? Hey. Them talk about Don Stephanie Lindsay. Remember, say Stephanie Lindsay failed Jamal's school, you know. Well, you say them Stephanie said them withdraw. But it was a mere propaganda. Them just always, from this Andrew Holness government coming, him take a set pan Chief Curry and one for brand Chief Curry as a gangster, one for brand Chief Curry as a guerrilla team leader, and all them everyday. And them something that they don't come up with. But Stephanie Lindsay is just like Dana Dixon and Nesta Morgan for the police force, where anybody push him out and say, go say this, she have to come out and say it. Don't forget, say the same Don's failed Jamal school. Stephanie Lindsay did come out with a whole heap of her buckles when them assassinate Kevin. When them assassinate Sergeant Kevin up a halfway tree where there. I know she same one come out with a whole heap of amazing grace. At first, I see somebody searching a dark to find life, it tell. Stephanie Lindsay is good at that. So we see the fool of a prime minister we have. A prime minister that doesn't understand history, diplomacy, or constitution is a woeful thing for your country. Because all this prime minister is going to respect is his 10 fingers. How much of the Jamaican purse you can loot and shoot your way through Andrew Holness. That is all this thing cares about. That is why I don't see him take over the whole government and I run around the place like madman saying me, I. You soon walk and talk, say donkey have fed and fowl have here because you're that dunce. Hagging tie, they say. Elaine Turner. Wow. Hug in time. But let's look at how the situation developed over the weekend.
After you stamp it up and then come back with that thing.
Blessings, Jamaica. I have something for show you here. Now look around me. Now look.
See there, man. Maroon, man. Point the camera for me. Now look. Yeah, we not take no injustice over here.
Hold on, please. Something I go on, I'm going to update you upon it right now, here. Because I'm not going to hear a whole heap more after this. See? So, me know the community a Quickstep right now. Send out the live here, man. Send it out to everybody right now, because this will be one serious live. See, no joke. No joke. Send this out and send it to everybody. Right? Since it reached the point here, it reached the point here. See here? Police and soldier all around me in the community a Quickstep with there. Right? Quickstep with there. Again, problem over here, so we come over here to de-escalate a situation. And them now tell me, say, me have to go come down a station with them. So we not go hear about it today. Because we there so, and the people them there so, we come to de-escalate, see them, more police come, everybody else come now. So we are going to find out what going on. But we need to update up on the long-standing issue.
Looking at my face, mentor, me and you never meet yet. But let me tell you something, mentor. Don't make me start dig pan you, because every superintendent come a Black River police station with own honor by giving on a fish and lobster and tipping honor. Don't make me start investigate you, mentor, and tell about the corruption and the bribery where you sit down a Black River police station are correct. Mentor, don't let it start. Don't. We know, We know Black River police, mentor. We know how no licky and wanga got. Don't make me start dig pan your mentor, because the information will flow. And we will hear all of what you take, all of the packet you pick. Don't forget to say for your police them all woman and take with them card and rape them and carry them got cash pint mentor. Don't let it start tonight. Don't make we start dig. Don't make St. Elizabeth people mentor start dash you out, because you have to corrupt. You're the Black River police station superintendent mentor. You have to corrupt. Me now ask Christ mentor. I'm telling you, you're the Black River police station. You have to corrupt mentor. Me I tell you that. Don't make we start on your own here.
That's been going on over here in Quickstep. Quickstep is a deep part of cockpit country to which there is a so-called forestry reserve. What has been going on with this forestry reserve situation is that it has been demarcated forestry reserve. However, people have been over the years deliberately lumbering from that area and taking the lumber out under the guise of forestry. You know, what is forestry doing with how much feet, thousands of feet of mahogany wood, right? The mahogany. Right, one of the rarest species in the forest. Mahogany. What is the forestry department doing with mahogany? See, this is Superintendent Minto from Black River. We've had a very good relationship to the beginning of his term. Right? Superintendent Minto has expressed he has zero regard for neither the history, the law, nor the forest, because they're prepared to facilitate the pilferage of mahogany from cockpit country and telling the world that the Maroons are lumbering. These are the people who are lumbering, and these are the coverts and agents who facilitate the lumbering of cockpit country. So when them can't take enough, and when the people of cockpit country stand up and decide to make a stance, it's a bad man pose. Them say me have to come down today now. Them say me have to come down today. Them don't know say me come over here to de-escalate, but they're escalating it. We are doing what we need to do as leaders in our communities to de-escalate and manage situations. But when we're met with ignorance, arrogance, and total disrespect, it is hard to contain the people, because the people are going to speak for their chief. And the people are going to speak for their rights. So if Superintendent Minto was sent by someone else than who was given that authority to execute the law, right? And I'm not talking some quasi-law, some backbush law.
Remember say Minto meet Andrew in a last week. Remember in a Andrew chatting around the country taking crime report from superintendent. Andrew Holness met Minto last week.
Somebody needs to inform Superintendent Minto about the rights of indigenous people, about the Maroons of Cockpit Country, about the protection of the so-called forestry zone, that they themselves are assisting persons to take lumber out of Quickstep, right, and profit from it. People in Quickstep don't have no light, them don't have no food, them don't have no water, right? And they come here, right? See them? When you see them lining up. And me them say them know them ready for now. You see them? But them don't know what mistake they're making. Because I'm saying to them, I am here to de-escalate, not escalate. But every day I'm gonna take a way to find a way to turn me into the criminal. To turn me into the object.
Don't Stephanie Lindsay, where Valiant teach you at school. If it's not propaganda and trying to tarnish Chief Curry's reputation, dunce, under what circumstances, dear dunce, dame of dunceness, the dame of dunceness, Stephanie Lindsay, under what circumstances would you have named Chief Curry as a person of interest if it was not pure propaganda and trying to smear Chief Curry's character? Explain, dame of dunceness.
Of no abuse and no oppression. It done. We have been lobbying for conversations and dialogue with this government for so long. A government that does not respect its indigenous people, a government that does not respect human rights, a government that does not give any regard for the people it's supposed to be looking after and saying that we are all Jamaicans. We do not subscribe to chattel behavior and chattel treatment. Maroons are free people. And all we've been seeking is dialogue and understanding. But instead, what we keep facing is agents of the state coming into our territory to oppress our people, and other agents of the state being used to facilitate their wrongdoings and their fraud. So it's over here to bring peace and to help them to escape this problem. And they're now putting me as the person caught in the problem. This is going to be a hard and long one, you know. This is going to be a hard and long one. So we are going to there for as long as we need for there to see what will happen. We bring with Starlink over Quickstep people, them now have no connection. Look how much people they on them phone. See them? Look at the people them. Right? But no, see what them bring coming at Quickstep here. See what them bring coming at Quickstep here. See what them bring coming at Quickstep here. Yeah? This is what it is. Right? This is what it is. We are defending our rights, our indigenous rights. The Maroons of Quickstep need to be respected. What is the forestry department doing with mahogany?
To the JDF and the JCF. Remember, so on a week, on a hungry, on a don't eat good, on a salary can't maintain on a energy. Careful of what the government have put on you in. See, oh, taxi man just a take on a wheel on a dash on a throw on a all about. So careful on a don't have the chance to turn up to Jamaicans when you have yam and banana and you think cocoa bread can take on civil unrest? Cocoa bread. To post on the buck up on a marine woman with trang. Look at that woman where the police have a bite for container. Careful what the government are pushing in. Because remember the government here now go son no pan air ambulance to America go get the required treatment and the required stitching up. Careful, oh, careful. Just a warning.
truckload of mahogany been taken out of cockpit country. There's a stamp that should stamp all lumber leaving these forest lands. The police are telling me they don't know that law. There are 2 stamps on this island. Forestry Department has one and the Maroons have one. Let me show it to you. Where's the stamp? Look up there if you see the stamp. I'm going to take a picture of board. Let me show you.
Your army and your police cannot fight in the mountains. They cannot. They're not used to that environment. They cannot. If American army couldn't defeat Afghanistan, what do you expect?
Where the stamp? Let me say this to you, Jamaica. Let me say this to you. For so long that we've been petitioning and trying to get this government to come to terms, to dialogue with a compound. Chief Curry is here standing and fighting for the rights of the Maroons and the people of Cockpit Country. And we will not back down, no matter what force or intimidation you bring. We came here to resolve this issue, and we're being made to seem like criminals. We're going to post additional information on this. We're going to post additional information on this. See them here? They're surrounding the bus. This is the bus for the Akompong Maroons, right? Registered in the name of the sovereign state of Akompong, yes, under their government entity, right? And we are here standing to defend the rights of the people, and the superintendent is telling me that I'm going to have to come down. That's not what we're here for. We're here for constructive dialogue. Don't tell me that you don't care about indigenous and you don't care about treaty. It is reflecting in your government that you all don't have any respect for the indigenous people of the island. So you don't need to tell me that, Superintendent Minto. You don't need to tell me that, Superintendent Minto. It is showing your whole disposition. Everything you say and do tells that you have no regard for the people of Cockpit Country, Akompong, or any other Maroon districts. So your ignorance to the law is not an excuse to the law, sir. Your ignorance to the law is not an excuse to the law. And the people who you have continuously gone after are those who you said who have broken the law. If you have broken the law, so here we are. They're forcing to come inside now, right? Oh no, what are we gonna do? We're gonna go down? Yeah, we're gonna go down. Let's go. We're not gonna create another scene for me. Watch it. Listen, you see everything you wanna see happen here, so we're not gonna hear more. Remember me telling you that. We're gonna stay. Yo. We are gonna stay. Lock off.
John Rukumbine, you are a supporter of this platform. This platform will not tolerate, this platform will be dictatorial when it comes to the Maroon. This platform will not tolerate any opposition or any criticism of Chief Curry. Because nobody never have problem with Chief Curry till Andrew start have problem with Chief Curry. So this platform, when it comes to the Maroon, is quite dictatorial. We will not entertain criticism or opposition of the chief. If there's any power-hungry person in our country, is the crooked criminal of a prime minister that we have, we will not tolerate any opposition to the chief or to the Maroons. None.
Lock off that. No, hold on. The connection is up, right? Hold on. Yeah, leave that there. Listen. No, man. We're going to do what is right and right by the people. You see me today? I stand up for my people and I stand up for the rights of Cockpit Country. Because you know now go come and think you can pilfer this and thief this and coerce and oppress the people without them knowing them rights and trying to create this situation of tension that need not exist. Listen. Peace be unto you here. We're there and we're going to hold it. Greetings and good night, everybody. I have an update to give on a real quick. Alright, just bear with me 2 minutes. I'm going to show you why this country now go better and why this country can't better. You understand? This country is riddled with corruption and dirty people who claim to be the protector of the people. These people are agents of corruption, and I'm going to show it and paint it to you see, right? The forestry division in the forest is the one who's actually lumbering our forest. This has been a long-standing issue. Quickstep is not a playpen for the forestry department to decide what to lumber, when to lumber, who to lumber.
It's the audio, my people. It was because of the reception at the time.
Disrupted, but me will get me information through tonight. Today we get called by Superintendent Minto from the Black River Police Station, right? I met Superintendent Minto last year.
Explain, John, why Andrew Holness is right on this one, because Chief Curry not allowing them to pilfer the Maroon community and its resources like how other chief before Chief Curry was allowing Andrew to pilfer and get away with it and destroy the water basin within the cockpit country. Only look on the long-term future, John. We don't look on the long-term damage that this government is doing by pushing to continue mine and destroy and poison off the water streams across the country. What right? Well, Andrew Holness right both pan this one. Well, Andrew Holness right both pan this one. Anybody think Andrew Holness right pan is a dunce like Andrew Holness because Andrew Holness come pan states come to and say Jamaica is a sovereign state? Where? How? When? Why? How did it happen? Huh?
When he just came into office, I thought he was a good fellow because I thought he had a mission and I saw him doing his work and I observed what he's been doing to clean up a lot of the mess in the parish. But today, Mr. Minto, you turned the table the wrong way because Chief Curry has always been respectful to you. Say that a lie.
Chief Curry never buy no vote to get to where Chief Curry is. Chief Curry no hungry for power. Chief Curry never buy no vote to get to where Chief Curry is. Chief Curry never use no violence, no intimidation to get to where Chief Curry is. The people elected him. Can Andrew say that?
Call Chief Curry to help you with issues that you've been having. Say that is a lie. Today you called me and told me that there's an issue in Quickstep. If I heard about it, I told you no because we have no signal in a compound. You said, okay, see if you can find out what's going on because some persons have been blocked in. I said to you, this would not be the first time this has happened, sir, Superintendent. You should check the records to see what happened the last time, why persons were blocked in Quickstep. I made my way over to Quickstep after a funeral that I had this morning. Little after speaking to Superintendent Minto, I tried calling him again, I did not get him. We went in the bus over into Quickstep to meet up with Superintendent Minto and other members of the community of Quickstep. When I went into the community and got down to the square, there was an entourage of police and forestry van and a fire truck and some other vehicles coming out in the opposite direction. So obviously we stopped, a very narrow road. So we stopped, we're in the square, literally in the heart of Quickstep. So I disembarked, went up to Superintendent Minto and asked him what's the situation and how it has unfolded. So today, when I went to Superintendent Minto told me that the situation he's very displeased with because the roads have been blocked. So I tried to enlighten him as to what the situation is and the challenges that we had. 2 years ago, when there was a similar issue where Quickstep was blocked by residents, they are protesting lumbering in that area. Now, let me say this, Quickstep is a farming community. And yes, lumbering happens in Quickstep. It has been happening for years.
I want John and those of the Jamaica Labour Party supporter, if you are, those who are supporting Andrew Holness on this issue. Ask Andrew Holness and Babsy Grange. When them collect the money from international donors for indigenous community, who the wara hit clatter and cuss bad word this morning, them collect it for. Ask the Jamaican government. Try it out nice to win. Ask the Jamaican government. When they hop around the world and collect money from these international donors for the indigenous community, who them collect it for? So when Andrew Holness talk about take taxpayers' money, fund, group, where it's not a municipality or whatever, when you collect the money on behalf of the indigenous community, who you collect it for and where you do with it, who you collect it for? Thiefing Andrew and criminal Babsy, where young boy always are dead in your lap. So then haul your two zinc fence. And so then dead in your lap, in your own rent a car, them where you rent Babsy and give them gun. Figure commit crime. Who does Babsy and Andrew Holness collect money from the international donors for when them collect money on behalf of the indigenous community? Who? For anybody who think to say the Maroon community I live off of the Jamaican government. Ask the Jamaican government, PNP and Labour for years, how much money have they collected from international countries for indigenous community? A set of damn thief them. Set of damn criminals.
Occur? Yes, Maroon lumber. How did that transaction occur? A third-party entity was sent into Quickstep to set up a machine shop, of which the Maroons would sell him the lumber and him would sell it back to the government. At all times, the government has always maintained their position of not directly engaging with the Maroons. So they send agents of the state to come and do their business. So all the train lines you see across Jamaica, right? All the train lines across Jamaica, the Pauline, the wood, the big tough square wood what you see now, all that come from over Quickstep. So it's been a playhouse for many years. And since recently, after its demarcation as a protected area, remember, them government now label it as a protected area. So what is this? Who is Forestry Division and what is their mandate really? Is it protectionism or is it exploitation under the guise of protectionism? It's the same thing with Backside. We say Cockpit Country protected area, but we left off one little piece out of what we did at Grion and First, and all of that is now filled with mining licenses and prospective licenses. So is it protectionism or is it exploitation under the guise of protectionism? What is the Forestry Department doing with one truckload of mahogany lumber? Tell me, Jamaica. What is the Forestry Department doing with an entire almost 1,000 foot of mahogany coming out of the heart of Cockpit Country in the protected area? You tell me. And why is Superintendent Minto escorting them out of the area without a stamp on these lumber, without due
creativity? I don't understand your comment.
I explained the situation to Superintendent Minto. We had that meeting down in Quickstep in Silo 2 years ago. The mayor for Falmouth was there. The mayor for Black River was there. The Custos was there. Senator Dalrymple was there. There were members of the JCF high-ranking officials, the superintendent at the time, who was not Minto. So Superintendent Minto, I urge you again, get your information and gather the history before you come and disrespect indigenous culture in indigenous land and telling me you don't care about treaty or you don't care about Maroon this or whatever. That is your problem. Ignorance of the law is no excuse to the law. The police themselves will tell you that every day.
Ambassador Anu, greetings. This is directly a message to Deputy Superintendent Minto, and we're going to ask this to be a diplomatic message, that it's taken in a diplomatic tone and respectful. To the Jamaica Constabulary Force and to the Jamaica Defense Force that was present today, under maybe most likely false information and a false narrative. The situation exists that lumber coming out of Maroon territory is Maroon lumber, Maroon assets. Maroon that has been... Lumber that has been pre-cut already is a false narrative, and we completely reject it. The main issue that Akongkong has tonight, and we're directly speaking to... Greetings. You can hear me? Wave your hand if you can hear me.
No creativity. These videos were sent to me by the Maroons. I have connection. I have communication with them.
Yeah? Alright, give thanks. Alright, check this. So, we need the government of Jamaica, the Jamaica Constabulary Force, and the Jamaica Defense Force to please reaffirm themselves with information that came out a long time ago. The British High Commissioner, who works for the British Crown, came to Akongkong no less than 3 to 4 years ago. Well, no, within the last 5 years, and they reaffirmed the treaty. This is not the Ambassador Anu making up a story. This is not Chief Richard Curry making up a story. This is not the people of Akongkong making up a story. This is geopolitical information that needs to be spread throughout the country. That the Maroon people are a sovereign people. People don't like us to use that word, right? They don't like us to say that we are sovereign when we are sovereign. So to Deputy Superintendent Minto, when you make a claim that you want to arrest a sovereign leader of a sovereign people and sovereign land, you're making an absolute butchery of the law. That is you're actually creating a criminal act, right? And there is a way how we deal with that, because the treaty speaks to that, and there is a due process to that. You cannot be threatening to arrest a sovereign leader, and you cannot decide that you're going to be taking indigenous assets out of an indigenous territory and using government badness in Maroon territory, right? You are the one who called Chief Richard Curry over there, so we almost could think this is a setup, right? And then you're making threats, and you had an officer who pulled a firearm and tried to enter the bus, while Chief Richard Curry have a higher rank than any one of those officials that were on the scene. You are trying to enter the bus to try to somehow intimidate and make an arrest, right? The international community has been notified. Our international partners have been notified. We have been in contact with the United Nations. We will be talking to the necessary international partners and parties and entities and stakeholders that have interest with the Maroons, to let them understand of the constant infliction, discrimination, right? and the stress, duress, and coercion that we're being placed under for no apparent reason other than government badness. That's what I wanted to curtail it as, right? There's a due process of the law, and the due process is that if you are going to enter Maroon territory, that you do call the chief, the leader of the Maroons, which you did, Deputy Superintendent, and we did come onto the scene and we tried to de-escalate a situation. And when we found out that you were taking and escorting lumber, Maroon lumber, out of the territory, we kindly requested that the lumber be stamped, because this is the law. Because if you don't follow the law, you are actually committing a crime your own self. And we explained that to you, that if you drive and escort and pilot this lumber out without a stamp, you are committing a crime. No, I'm not sure if your ego or all the egos of the officers were bruised, but this is the law. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. It's not something that we're trying to play with, but to try and threaten our chief, and to try and say you're going to arrest our chief, and then say you're going to come to a compound, and then call military intelligence. We intercept in communications. We have our own way of understanding when you guys want to come, when you guys are coming. And it is stupid. I would just say to our international community that somebody must speak to this government and explain to them. This is the second time that a member of the JCF has either attacked or inflicted wounds upon a Maroon. There will not be a third time. And that is why we're putting out this information, because there has to be a line that is drawn. Right? You're pushing people to a certain element. We have been very diplomatic. And I'm telling you, this is not something, and I'm going to be very respectful, and I hope this is taken in the best way, because I know that this video can be taken in any narrative and spun anyway. Words can be used anyway, and to try to portray people as if they are some rebels. We are not rebels. The treaty protects us as sovereign people, free people on this island. Right? Who don't like that word? Kick rocks. Right? A compound will not under any circumstance take any threat from any entity that they are going to either try to kidnap, arrest, or take our chief from us or from our territory. It will not happen. And to any one of you that believe that you have some plan that you're going to try and embarrass a compound and grab our chief, this is not going to be Zozo. This is not going to be a curfew. This is a country, a government, since we need to talk like that, that is going to respectfully declare and proclaim their self-defense, their right to self-defense, their right to self-preservation. Do not threaten a compound town. Good night.
This morning, since we came on air, there has been a new development that has been brought to my attention by the community, where Superintendent Minto is leading an operation into the Quickstep community at the moment. Let's look at Superintendent Minto's convoy. That's their convoy going up into the hills. There's quite a lot of vehicles of them, but we are going to be following this development quite closely. As soon as anything breaks, I know the ambassador will keep me informed, and I will make sure if it demands that I come live, I will do so immediately. But we are following the developing situation in their compound at the moment, where Superintendent Minto of the Black River Police Station is leading an operation in the Quickstep community. The Forestry Division say they are carrying out an investigation because there is illegal harvesting of lumber going on there. I wonder who are the illegal harvester and who were they harvesting for, and what is Superintendent Minto investigating, and will Superintendent Minto give us a press conference and give us an explanation? Otherwise, Superintendent Minto, one would left to believe that the government is using, the Andrew Holness-led government is using the JCF to go and steal assets from the Maroon community without a press conference and an explanation from you. This is the only thing that we're going to be left to believe, that the government is using the military. Nowhere in the Gleaner or Observer article yesterday they spoke about military personnel being in their compound. Nowhere. Nowhere. But they were there though. They were there. But when I act like I only police on a send it. When I act like I only police on a send a Maroon town. Me telling you fan what you fan Andrew say Buju become ambassador to the Maroons and get back him visa. He realizes the real power of Chief Curry. He realizes the power of the sovereignty of the indigenous community. Me don't know if you remember, but me telling you say Andrew is angry. Andrew is angry. From he realized that the chief powers diplomatically outweighs him. He is angry. The fool is perturbed. Because remember, India walk and talk say, no other sovereign authority, not 1 inch. Not 1 inch, he said. But when he realized that the international community acknowledges and respects the power of the indigenous community, Andrew Holness becomes very angry. I was looking out for something. I don't remember if you remember me talk about it pan here. I was looking out for something from this man. He is so angry that he cannot contain himself. Why is it days after Andrew Holness met Superintendent Minto, all this is unfolding now? Yes, Buju got back his visa to the indigenous community. Andrew Holness tried to stop it about 3 times before the indigenous community did it. Andrew Holness call him ooks and pooks them up at the American embassy and block Buju. Buju and the Maroons have to apply out of Jamaican jurisdiction. That's what irritates Andrew, because he realized the chief can use his power outside the jurisdiction of Jamaica and go through to a U.S. embassy without Andrew Holness having power to ramble and whittle through. He is annoyed, paranoid, ever since he realized the power that Chief Curry has. He has gone loopy. So media expect something from him long time. Long time media expect something from him, because from that come true, he has gone off rocks. He has gone off from that happened. The program the pioneer what me do already. And that really triggered him. Because he realizes, he thinks that because the Maroons can only have that access to apply to the American embassy within Jamaica. So him keep blocking it. Him keep blocking it. But you probably will apply 3 times and Andrew block it. They had to go outside of Jamaica jurisdiction and apply to an American embassy outside the Jamaican jurisdiction. And that make Andrew becomes very angry. Very, very angry. Maybe I look for this long time. I was looking for this because he realized his power has been toppled. The unitary sovereign state, where the dunce, the valiant classroom boy I talk about, he realizes that a country outside of Jamaica recognizes the state of their compound and the sovereignty of the indigenous people. And it sends him into cuckoo land. It sent your prime minister into cuckoo land. So I was waiting for this. It's not quite surprising. He's been at it for quite a while. But what Andrew Holness is pushing, if the country should break out, Andrew Holness, let me say this, the people of Jamaica will not stand with you in an onslaught against the indigenous community. It will not happen. Of course, you will have your cronies. Of course, you will have your cronies. But I'm sure Jamaica will do what's right. I'm sure Jamaica will be on the side of justice. I am sure, Prime Minister, Jamaica will be on the side of freedom and real independence, is which you are trying to take away from all of us. The people of Jamaica, Prime Minister, will not stand with you. They will not. Not you. Hey, no, not you. Hey, not you. No, sir, not at all, not at all. Not you. If you go find somebody else, not you. You mean you the thief? You the liar? You the illicit criminal? You the one. You the one who assists Dr. Chang in importing illegal guns into the country. You the chief of the criminal city puss of a prime minister. You? Hey, no, sir. Not at all. Not at all, Prime Minister. Bro evil, bro devil, bro snake. Not you. Not you. Not you. Not you. Fool as Jamaicans be. May I wait for the junk for you, beat and teach. May I wait for the may I wait for the drunk crook come in. When the drunk crook will come out, come talk. Use a Peter King dry bone beat him out here today. Use Peter King dry bone. Because I walk and ball over everything. You will get something to ball about this time when I use Peter King dry bone and beat him about here. Anyway, my people, me, I go to Jamaica National now, come here boycott Western Union because I was dysfunctional over the weekend and never get fiddle. Where I laugh a beat and teach. I never get fiddle where fiddle over the weekend. So I figure Jamaica National now go pay me tax to Jamaica. Because I don't know what say. You live a foreign, you have to pay Jamaica tax. Ever so often, every month or sometime 2 times a month and anything there. So, me I go pay me Jamaica tax now. No, sir. So me I go down a Jamaica National. And if the thief them out there, me now walk with my phone in my hand. So no don't bother look out for me. Anyway, my people, thank you all for being here this morning, this afternoon. I hope you all can spread the word about the attack on the Maroon community from the government. Share this live to everybody who you can, your social media pages, your WhatsApp group. We need to get the information out there. We need to stand together. We need to support the Maroon. Our voices are strong. Our voices are powerful, only though if we use them for the correct reasons. Good morning and good afternoon from Global TV.